Hello everybody, welcome to Mixed Martial Arts, your #1 channel for content related to comic books and mixed martial arts. Today we're going to be discussing Sugar Sean O'Malley. We're going to talk about his career up until this point, including his one professional boxing fight, and we're going to answer, is Sean O'Malley a high-level fighter, or is he just a striker? Sean O'Malley began his amateur MMA career on March 30th, 2013, at the age of 18. He compiled an amateur record of 9 wins with 2 losses in less than 2 years. There were already hints of his unique and exciting fighting style in these amateur bouts. Sean O'Malley had his first professional MMA fight at the age of 20 on March 6th, 2015. O'Malley won the fight by TKO via ground strikes, and the Sugar Show was underway. O'Malley won his second fight by KO and his third fight by submission. He was 3-0 with all 3 finishes coming in the first round. Sean O'Malley won his fourth fight by unanimous decision, and this remains the only flyweight bout of his professional career. O'Malley made his pro boxing debut on July 16, 2016, and he won by first round TKO. O'Malley returned to MMA for his 5th fight soon after, which took place at bantamweight again. His showmanship was starting to become a staple of his fights. And O'Malley scored a nice knockout in this fight to improve to 5-0 as a professional. Sean O'Malley got another highlight reel first round KO in his 6th fight. Then Sean O'Malley was signed by LFA, but one fight was all he needed with the organization to make a name for himself. He fought David Nuzzo and got another first round knockout, this time with a hook and kick to the face. The highlight reel knockout caught the attention of Dana White, and O'Malley earned a fight on Season 1 of Dana White's Contender Series, where he fought Alfred Kashakian. It was an incredibly entertaining fight, but Sean O'Malley earned another highlight with a first-round knockout via a punch. Sean O'Malley proceeded by welcoming Dana White to the Sugar Show.
Welcome to the Sugar Show! This is my show!
Dana White was impressed, and he signed Sean O'Malley to the UFC. Sean O'Malley made his UFC debut on December 1st, 2017 against Terrion Ware. O'Malley was 23 years old. O'Malley was looking for the finish as he always does, but he was unable to get it, and this was the second fight of his career that went to a decision. It was still a strong performance by O'Malley, and the judges gave him the unanimous decision victory. In his next fight, O'Malley was booked against Andre Sukumtot for UFC 222. O'Malley dominated Sukumtot through 2 rounds and nearly knocked him out. Then O'Malley injured his foot in the 3rd round and didn't put any weight on it for the remainder of the fight. He hopped around on one foot, but Sukumtot decided to take Sean down rather than force him to fight on one foot. It was a poor decision by Sukumtot that allowed O'Malley to escape the 3rd round and reach the end of the fight. O'Malley won the fight via unanimous decision and had to do his in-cage interview with Joe Rogan while lying down. After the interview, he was stretchered out of the octagon. O'Malley was scheduled to face Jose Quinones at UFC 229, but Sean O'Malley was suspended by USADA for Osterine, and the fight was cancelled. Sean O'Malley was booked to face Marlon Vera at UFC 239 next, but that fight was cancelled after O'Malley tested positive for Osterine again and received a 2nd suspension. Although Marlon Vera was upset, he got a replacement fight on the same card, and Vera shook hands with O'Malley that week. After 2 years of USADA suspensions, O'Malley returned when he was 25 years old at UFC 248 against Jose Quinones. But O'Malley was comfortable and composed despite the layoff and hate he received for the drug suspensions. O'Malley performed well and earned a first-round knockout victory. He dropped Quinones, followed up with a head kick that dropped him again, and then finished the fight with some ground and pound. The Sugar Show hype was returning, and the fans were ready to see O'Malley receive a tougher test inside the octagon. This test came at UFC 250 when Sean O'Malley fought Eddie Wineland to open the main card. Eddie Wineland was the inaugural WEC bantamweight champion and was coming off a KO victory heading into this fight, although he was past his prime. Sean O'Malley scored his biggest UFC highlight yet by knocking Wineland out with a single punch in round 1. It was a sensational knockout that left fans asking for another step up in competition for the Sugar Show. So Sean was rebooked against Marlon Vera, his toughest opponent to that point. Marlon Vera caught O'Malley with a leg kick early in the fight that left O'Malley's foot injured. Sean O'Malley was left stumbling around the cage, and he fell on multiple occasions. He couldn't put any weight on his right foot. Vera capitalized on O'Malley's injury by following him to the ground and landing some hard ground and pound towards the end of the first round. O'Malley couldn't defend himself, and he lost the fight by TKO. O'Malley was stretchered out of the cage for the second time in his UFC career, and it was looking as though injuries might plague the remainder of Sean's career. Then Sean O'Malley returned at UFC 260 against Thomas Almeida, with plenty of critics doubting his ability to take leg kicks. Yet Sean O'Malley fought incredibly and nearly finished Almeida in round 1. But O'Malley was a bit too eager for the walk-off KO, and Almeida was able to survive the exchange. O'Malley got another knockdown late in round 3, but this time he followed it up with a powerful punch to the grounded Almeida that led the ref to step in. O'Malley was scheduled to face Luis Smolka at UFC 264 next, but Smolka withdrew a month before the fight due to an injury. So Sean O'Malley faced Chris Moutinho in what was Moutinho's first UFC fight. Sean O'Malley pummeled Moutinho with constant pressure for the entire fight. Then the fight was finally stopped in round 3 after Moutinho had absorbed an unbelievable amount of damage. It was an impressive performance, but also clear that O'Malley was on a different level than Moutinho from the start. Next, O'Malley faced Rowley and Paiva at UFC 269. O'Malley dominated Paiva from the start and began teeing off on him towards the end of the first round. After knocking Paiva down for a second time in the exchange, the fight was stopped. It was an impressive performance considering O'Malley revealed he was injured and nearly pulled out of the fight, but the commentators may have over-exaggerated the significance of this victory just a little bit. Sean O'Malley has garnered plenty of attention and accumulated a strong fan base over his career. He brings a unique combination of an entertaining personality and polished fighting style that make people really want to watch him. But fans continue to ask for Sean O'Malley to begin fighting more skilled opponents. He has still never fought an opponent in the top 10, and most of his opponents have been unranked at the time that they fought. Plus, there is no shortage of top-level fighters for O'Malley to face at bantamweight that aren't title contenders right now, such as Pedro Munoz, Song Yadong, and Marlon Moraes. So is Sean O'Malley all hype, or can he really fight? I think he can actually fight and become a top contender at bantamweight, perhaps even a champion someday. There are a few reasons why I think this. Firstly, Sean O'Malley has incredible striking, speed, timing, and creativity that often allows him to dominate opponents in the kickboxing department. Secondly, O'Malley takes his jiu-jitsu training seriously, surrounds himself with training partners who are better grapplers than him, and he has competed in jiu-jitsu tournaments and events too. His grappling skills are definitely a concern that loom over his potential, since we've seen so little grappling out of O'Malley during his MMA fights. But his devotion to training and competing in jiu-jitsu is a good sign that he is a well-rounded fighter and not just a striker. He also had a baby in 2020, which could potentially ensure he remains focused on training and improving throughout his career. But perhaps the most important factor to consider in determining whether Sean O'Malley is all hype is his mentality. Does he have the drive to successfully handle adversity in the octagon? Top fighters can deal with adversity under the bright lights when the pressure is on. They remain composed when the going gets tough, and they find a way to win. When fighters don't perform to their true potential, they leave it in the past and move on to accomplish their goals anyways. On the other hand, some athletes may be highly skilled, but lack the fighter's mentality to push through difficult situations. Sean O'Malley dealt with adversity when he fought Andre Sukumtot. His foot was injured, but he pushed through and won the fight. However, Sukumtot made it slightly easier on O'Malley by taking him down, thus removing the potential for O'Malley to have to put weight on his injured foot. Yet when Sean O'Malley faced Marlon Vera, he couldn't deal with his foot injury, and he lost the fight soon after. This might have been a more severe injury than the one he suffered in the Sukumtot fight, or perhaps O'Malley just couldn't deal with the pain in the moment. But it does raise questions about how Sean O'Malley will deal with adversity in his future fights against top contenders. But Sugar Sean has demonstrated the ability to put on strong performances under the lights and remain focused before and during the fight. He doesn't even get too excited after a win. He claims that it's better to avoid getting too high or too low in order to remain focused. I think this is a sign that O'Malley has the mental strength to deal with adversity and continue progressing his skills till he is eventually fighting the top fighters at 135 pounds. In my opinion, Sean O'Malley has the skills and the mentality to become a champion one day. What do you guys think? Am I just buying into Sugar's hype, or can Sean O'Malley really fight? Do you think he can deal with adversity and push through the pain in the championship rounds of a big fight? Let me know in the comment section whether you guys think Sean O'Malley is all hype, or if he can truly fight. And comment down below who you would like to see him fight next. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Follow the link in the description to my Twitter page and follow me on there for more frequent mixed martial arts updates. And if you want to see more videos like this one, then hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.